Most yogis destroy their peace of mind the moment that they step on the mat when they should be unlocking instant calm, right? You think the first step is asking, what should I do today? But that very question is actually a trap that's just fueling more overthinking. The secret isn't in doing more poses, it's in asking one radically different question. And after years of helping high achievers quiet their racing thoughts with the power of Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga, I've found that this simple shift stops burnout in just seconds. The minute you ask this question, I promise you'll feel a difference. Because for years, I treated my yoga practice like a to-do list. I'd get on the mat and I'd immediately start negotiating with myself. I'd be like, okay, today my hamstrings are tight, I went for that run, so maybe I should do more things that release my hamstrings. But I also need to do a little bit of cardio, so maybe I should add some more vinyasas inside. And by the time I started moving and I found a YouTube video, my brain was louder than before when I started. And so I was doing yoga, I was following all these cool YouTube channels, but I wasn't actually feeling anything. I wasn't actually becoming more yogic. So planning your practice is killing your progress, and asking, what do I have the capacity for today, is the only thing that's going to reconnect you with your body. I'm Sushmita, but you can call me Sushi, and I help busy minds quiet their racing thoughts and reclaim their inner focus through the power of Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga. And if you're ready to stop guessing and you want a structured path to mental clarity, then check out the link in the description below for my Yoga Mastery program. But right now, let's fix your practice. The question of what should I practice today feels so justified. It's almost like the responsible thing to do, right? You could be staring at your favorite YouTube yoga channel and you're trying to find a video that's perfect in length, that has enough intensity and works on all the different parts of your body that feel tight. Maybe you just find 30-minute flows and you keep practicing with different teachers. I know that this comes from a place of dedication, a place of curiosity and exploration to try different things. But when you're stuck in this mindset of finding the right class, you're stuck in this doing mindset where you're chasing an external goal, like getting through a whole practice or a checklist of poses, just so that you can feel good, just so that you can feel accomplished. And this is the trap of modern yoga. This way of thinking is often reinforced in popular yoga studios where everyone is expected to do the same exact thing, and it completely ignores what each individual body is actually going through on any given day. We tell ourselves to push through, even if it's not overt and we're not telling ourselves to, force ourselves into shapes. There's this underlying tone of just chasing an endorphin high of that powerful vinyasa class. And I'm sure this has its place, don't get me wrong. I've also been to classes where I felt good afterwards. But over time, we begin to see yoga progress as almost like this straight line that's meant to be conquered, that's meant to be done. But yoga doesn't work that way. And while we're so busy doing, our body starts to whisper. At first, it's really subtle, it's really soft. It's maybe just that you're clenching your jaw while you're doing forward folds, whenever that pose that you're not able to get and you keep trying and then, you don't get it at all, you start to get frustrated. Maybe you just had little sleep last night and you just brush it off and you say, don't worry, it's okay. But that lingering fatigue, that sense that, I'm so tired that even that third cup of coffee wasn't able to fix it, those are the signs. And if we ignore these signals because they don't fit the plan, because they're not what we planned for the day, we begin to think over time, okay, don't worry, I can handle it. I've done this before. I've been here. Work is just busy. I'm just going through a season. And I remember a time in my own practice when I was so fixated on making progress. My plan was super rigid and I told myself I'm going to do primary series 6 days a week, no matter what. I was also in Mysore during this time and everyone was doing crazy things around me. They were pushing themselves. So I also ended up pushing myself. So I wanted to be noticed by my teacher. I wanted to be doing all of those advanced second series postures. Never mind that I was not sleeping well enough because I was working in a different time zone. And all of this didn't matter because the plan was the plan. I wanted to do the advanced poses and I wanted to do it this way. And so I spent 2 months like this, forcing my body to work at the same intensity, the same pace every single day, even though nobody was forcing me. And every single day, I wasn't building enough energy for the rest of the day to work, to do other things, to meet people. I would just end up crashing on the couch at 11 a.m. and sleeping for 2-3 hours and then waking up being what? It's lunchtime? And genuinely, I continued like this even after I got back home, that same level of intensity. And those whispers from my body turned into screams by the time I got home. From a person that was, really enjoying yoga, I just had this bone deep exhaustion of not sleeping enough, of pushing my body too much. And I totally lost the joy of the practice. I remember being like, oh gosh, it's one more thing that I have to do because it's on my checklist. And I came down with a fever, and my body literally forced me to stop and rest because I refused to listen to the subtle whispers. I refused to listen to the screams. And then eventually I actually had to just stop. And I'm saying this because you don't have to make the same mistakes that I did. And if your body is making itself heard, don't see it as a weakness, see it as the body's wisdom. So what is the answer? What is the antidote to all of this stuff? We want to move from planning and this doing mindset to actually having awareness. So what can we do to break this cycle? Before you do anything, before you start to move, before you start to make any plans for your day, just pause, stand in samasthitihi in front of your mat, take one deep inhale, take one long exhale, and honestly ask yourself, what do I have the capacity for today? Now, every single day is different, and that capacity will vary depending on how much you've slept, which part of the cycle you're on. Doesn't matter. Just ask this question with as much curiosity and lack of judgment as what do you have the capacity for today? And this question isn't like an excuse to be lazy, because every day we can tell ourselves, not much and not do anything. It's actually just an invitation to be honest with yourself. You can lie to everyone else, but you can't lie to yourself. And it's this invitation that kind of sends us into a deeper, more yogic principle of satya, or truthfulness. And so asking ourselves how much capacity we have on any given day is the foundation of the Mysore style method, where we basically go in a group setting and we do like our one-on-one individual practice. And this question instantly shifts you from that planning mindset into an awareness mindset. And this is where we want to be if we want this to be sustainable, right? It gets you out of your head, out of all the shoulds and have tos and expectations that you put on yourself, and drops you right into the reality of your body today, wherever it is today, right here in the present moment. And when you do that, you're unknowingly tapping into one of the most powerful and profound limbs of the entire Ashtanga practice, which is Pratyahara. Now, Pratyahara, what is it? We have to demystify it, because a lot of people just think, it means you're withdrawing and you're just trying to still all your thoughts and not think at all. Pratyahara is actually the fifth limb in Patanjali's 8-limb system of Ashtanga Yoga. Now, it literally translates into withdrawal of the senses. Now, this doesn't mean that you're shutting down your senses. It doesn't mean that you're going to go put yourself in some sort of sensory deprivation tank, where you're not exposing yourself to the world, or you're going to go live in an ashram or go to Bali or something where you're not engaging. All it means is that Pratyahara is about pulling your attention moment to moment away from the external stimuli, away from the things in the external world, and redirecting it inward, redirecting it inside yourself. So I want you to think of a little tortoise. So whenever it senses danger, it pulls its head, it pulls all of its limbs back into its shell. And the protective shell kind of offers that stillness, that safety. And the same way, when it withdraws its energy from the outside world, it finds a little bit of stillness inside. And then when there's no danger anymore, it can start to walk slowly and come out. And Pratyahara is that tortoise shell. So when we ask ourselves, what should I do today? Our mind then goes out into the world, starts planning, starts setting goals, start having expectations. But when we actually ask, what do I have the capacity for today? We call our attention home. We call our attention back into our physical body. So in the Mysore room, you don't have a teacher calling out the poses and determining what you should do. The room is really quiet, and it's filled only with the sound of the collective ujjayi breath. And the focus is no longer on keeping up with the group or copying someone else. It's in your own internal rhythm. And that's why Pratyahara is the bridge between the external limbs and the internal limbs of yoga. So we start from the external, then there's this Pratyahara thing that we have to do, and then we can go towards meditation and the deeper limbs of yoga. And you can't find mental stillness if your mind is jumping in every direction and it's hanging on to every distraction. The Mysore method is a framework for practicing Pratyahara and building this kind of mental immunity to all the distractions and disturbances. And this is what allows your mind to finally get quiet.